Fisherman's house. This is Probricks set PB94104. This LEGO compatible building block set consists of 1684 pieces. It was released in March 2023 for about €100. This set is a licensed MOC by Vladimir, who is also known under the name povladimir on Rebrickable. Sadly, at the time of recording this video, all his MOCs on Rebrickable aren't visible any longer. But several companies licensed his MOCs, so there are several sets by Probricks, but you can also find some of his MOCs by other companies. As far as I can say, this set here is more or less identical to the MOC. At least I couldn't find any differences on the pictures. The bricks used in the set are Go bricks, so the quality of those bricks should be on a par with the quality of LEGO bricks. I don't think there will be any reason to complain about the bricks. I hope there aren't any missing bricks. That's a bigger problem I see here. But well, we will find out. Well then, let's see what's inside the box now. The bags the bricks come in are all unnumbered, so that means there aren't any building sections to which the bricks are sorted. I would recommend to open every bag in the beginning and just sort all the bricks by type. This bag, for example, makes it quite easy. There are almost only bricks of the same type inside, but there are also other bags in which the content is quite mixed. There are also no printed building instructions. You have to download them as a PDF file. So we got this little card over here, and on the back side of the card we find a QR code, and with the help of this QR code you can download the PDF file. So when you have done that, you can open it, and then you see that it starts with the inventory. I always find it a bit strange when the inventory is in the beginning. I'm used to it being at the end of the instructions. But when we have gone through the inventory, the whole thing starts with step 1. And as you can see, at every step we get to know in this little box up here which bricks are used in this step. Well, yeah, then I will start with step 1 and I will come back to you if I will have a problem or I see something interesting. Step 44. We got quite fast to this point. Building this construction was quite easy so far because we almost exclusively used these huge 2x3 and 2x4 bricks, and it's always fun to build with large bricks. Now we have to turn around the build so that we can add all these plates here. And now it should look like in step 45, yes. The thing with step 45 is that we have no indication that we have to turn around the build. Normally in building instructions we get a little sign that shows us to turn the build, but it isn't done here. I don't know if they just forgot it in this step, or the whole instructions don't have these signs. But I don't think it's a problem. You immediately see that you have to work at the backside of this construction now. So this shouldn't be a problem at all. Step 53. Once again, we have to turn around the build, because in step 52 it looked like this. And yeah, I guess there are no symbols for turning our builds in this building instructions. But I still think this isn't a problem at all. Step 104. It feels great to place this slope here. Right here. Why? Well, because it finally connects this loose plate here. We placed this plate back, I think, in step 50, yeah. Here we placed the plate, and it was loose all the time. Somewhere in the 90s, I think, step 100 and step 97, there we finally started to place some stuff on the plate. The slope here, and in the next two steps, or in the next step, we placed these two 1x1 slopes, but it was loose all the time. And now finally, in step 104, 54 steps after we have placed this plate, we can finally connect it to the rest of our build. Well, but here's still one part which is loose too, and I think it has been even longer loose than this plate here. But at least this isn't just a single brick, it's a whole little segment, and so I can live with that. Step 143. We have to place this 1x1 round brick below the slope, and that's really strange. We just have placed the slope one step before in 142, and I think it's way easier to just place the slope on the round brick and then attach it to the build. Step 145. What kind of black magic is happening here with this 1x1 slope? It's simply floating in the air. So it's no problem to place this bigger slope down here, but I won't be able to reproduce the magic of the 1x1 slope. I can't place it on air. I don't know what happened here, but I have three theories. So this build was produced in a computer program, and maybe they simply forgot to place a 1x1 brick below that slope. The second theory is that maybe later on they had to edit the build, and to have a better view or whatever they did, they removed the 1x1 brick below the slope and forgot to place it back later. And the third theory is that maybe they just used a bad view. They used an unlucky angle to place the slope. So maybe they were looking on the whole thing from top, like this, and then they didn't manage to place this slope to push it all the way down. Maybe it just should sit on the brick behind the bigger slope, just like this. Come on. But this also looks a bit strange. Okay, I haven't pushed it all the way in now, so I will be able to remove it again. But I think it looks better if we simply place this 1x1, this 1x1 brick below the 1x1 slope. I think, oh, that's wrong. Yeah, like this. I think this is optical better than when we just leave out this 1x1 brick. Step 207. It's finally time to connect this part with the other part of the build. Yay! Finally! Step 214. In this step we have to place this bigger 1x2 slope, and I have no idea what color it is in. So all the bricks in the background are in dark bluish gray, and this little slope here is in light bluish gray. But what color is this? Maybe it's the old gray from when before Lego changed the colors. So the dark gray from before 2004. I have no idea. Well, we only got 4 slopes left of this bigger type of slopes. We got 3 slopes in dark bluish gray and 1 slope in light bluish gray. Here is the third dark bluish gray one. Yeah, and as you can see, I simply used the dark bluish gray slope because there are no slopes in other colors. Maybe let's have a look at the inventory. And in the inventory, we can see that there are 7 of these slopes in this old gray color. It's a bit hard to see on camera, but the gray of the big slope is different than the gray of all the other bricks. And there are no dark bluish gray slopes in this size at all in the inventory. So it seems like I got the dark bluish gray slopes instead of these old gray slopes in the set. That's strange. There's also another strange thing in the inventory. Have a look here. These 2 slopes are almost identical, and well, I have only 1 left of those light bluish gray slopes. I don't know if this is type A or B. The difference is normally what's inside, or better said, what's on the bottom here. If there are these kind of, these little things here which can hold studs or not. But I don't think it doesn't matter for our build, and so I guess we had 10 times the same slope and not 8 of type B and 2 of type A. I don't know. At least I didn't notice any difference. Well, then I'm going on with my dark bluish gray slope instead of the old dark gray one. Step 265. This is the last step of a series of steps where I had to place stuff on this 1x6 plate here. And well, according to the building instructions, I should have placed the plate first and then in the next steps put that stuff on top of the plate. But as you can see, when I place this plate here, it only sits on one single stud, and you can imagine that the whole plate would fall into this hole when I would start to place stuff on it. So that's the reason why I first placed the stuff on the plate, and now after I've done that, then I will place it on the build. Step 357. One of these 1x1 tiles in translucent dark blue is missing. It will be placed here. So that means now we have a gap right here where the stud with the injection point is. Luckily, this is only a cosmetic brick, so we can continue our build. It isn't any brick which is important for the construction to be continued. Step 358. One more of these 1x1 tiles is missing. So that means we now have a gap here. Step 471. I think this is the strangest way ever to create windows. I have never done this before. So we got this window part here, and we place it on the stud of this plate modified here, like this. And yeah, that's how this little hut gets a window. Also have a look at the wall here. All these 1x1 brick modifieds. It's just a strange way to build a house. You can clearly see that this used to be a mock. Step 475. Okay, this brick modified thing totally gets out of hand. Have a look at this. This is insane. Those are all just 1x1 brick modifieds, and a whole lot of them. Luckily, the clutch power of those bricks is good enough, so the whole thing is at least a bit sturdy, but that's just crazy. I don't know why we didn't use any of those 1x2 brick modifieds. I think that would have helped the sturdiness, but, well, we will make the whole thing sturdy now by placing tiles on the outside of this wall, and so I think everything will be sturdy enough in the end. Step 586. In this step we need to place two of these dark red 1x1 plates, and well, one is missing. I could only place one plate over here, but I have no dark red plate left to place it here. And I fear we will need more of those plates. Step 591. In this step I have to place a 1x1 slope on the missing plate. Well, I don't have the plate, so I will simply place it on the brick below. Like this. Step 593. There's one more of those dark red 1x1 plates missing. And in the same step I also have to place this tile on the missing 1x1 plate. So I will simply place the 1x1 plate on the brick below. I try to fix it when I receive the missing bricks from the company that produced these sets. I hope this will only take a few days. Step 613. In this step we start to close the house. So we have built this part of the roof here, and we are going to place it right here now. But I want to use this last opportunity to have a look inside the house, because later on it will be closed and we won't be able to look inside any longer. As you can see, there are no furniture. The house is empty. But what I really want to show you once again is how many of those 1x1 bricks, 1x1 brick modifieds we have used to build this house. It's just insane. This is really crazy. And the really crazy part is that everything is structurally sound now. During the building process of this house, I was afraid that it will collapse, because just placing one-on-one bricks on top of each other never is a good idea when building with Lego. But because of all those tiles we put on the outside of the house, we got in the end a structurally sound building here. These tiles really support the whole construction. Step 633. I have placed the whole roof on the house, and from this side it looks quite cool, but from that side it's just horrible. Oh man, I don't know if I did something wrong, but I think I followed the building instructions. I don't have seen any mistake that I did. But this doesn't look good at all. You can hold it together up here, but still with holding it like this, it looks somehow strange. So I removed a few parts from the under construction of these two roof parts, and now I could push the roof parts closer to the gable end. It doesn't look too well from the sides still, but well, better than before. At least from the top it's alright now. I think when we place it like this for display, it's fine. There might be a better solution, but this will do for now. Step 644. We are building this lamp post, and the lamp part itself is done with the help of two 1x1 round plates, one with an open stud, and this little dish here. And of course this cage-like thing, I don't know what it's called. I have first seen it in the early 90s in a set with a pirate ship that also was a little lamp. Okay, the problem now is that we have to pay attention. We can't interlock. Oh, where is it? Ah, there it is. We can't interlock the lower plate completely with the dish, because when we do that, I will show you, then we won't be able to interlock this plate dish combination with this little cage. You see, it fits in, but it's only lying in there. There's no possibility to interlock it. It just falls out when we turn it around. Here is the stud down there on which we want to interlock the orange plate. Okay, what I do now is that I only stick it in a bit, and now I'll try to interlock it with this cage-like thing. And as you can see, this works. Step 652. This little segment here is something which I'm not very fond of. As you can see, those are only several tiles piled up. They aren't interlocked at all, so you shouldn't move your whole build too much. I think these construction blocks should be interlocked. That's the whole fun with it. I don't like it when things are just lying around. That's not my taste. I know many mocks do stuff like that, but I'm really not a fan of this. Step 664. This little red bucket really is cool. I haven't seen this piece before. According to Bricklink, it's in use since 2011. and I really think it's a neat little minifigure utensil. Step 670. Here is another piece I haven't used before. It's a rope with climbing grips, and according to Bricklink, it's in use since 1998. Step 671. The build is complete. In this last step, once again, there's a missing part. Instead of this axe here, we got a knife. Right here at the table. I don't know how this could happen. Maybe they just didn't have any axes and so they gave me a knife. I don't know. Well, but now let's have a look at the build. I think it really looks beautiful. We got this cute hut sitting on this pier and creating these string of lights. That's a cool idea. I also like how for the door a turntable was used. That really looks interesting. Down here we got another little pier, maybe for mooring a little boat. And the water is really done well with all these brick-built waves. It gives the whole set an impression of motion. It looks like there's some life in this diorama. There are so many little details. Everywhere is stuff lying around. Sadly, some of that stuff is not interlocked. It's really just sitting on tiles and so on, like all these tiles here. So you have to pay attention not to lose something when moving around the build. The backside of the build shows several layers of earth, of the soil on which the hut was built. It is cool that this cut through rock has got that many details, but I think the other side is more interesting for presentation. The building instructions are very easy to follow and they only have one little mistake. The building process isn't difficult, but it's not as easy as it is with Lego sets. This set clearly used to be a mock. Sometimes the construction is quite the opposite of sturdy during the building process. Odd choices of the bricks were made, and sometimes they are placed in really strange positions. Just think of all those 1x1 bricks, all those 1x1 brick modifieds. It makes you think that the designer tried to construct this build as unfirm as possible, but once the build is complete, everything is sturdy enough. What I don't like about the set is the roof. It's rubbish. At least it's quite easy to mod it in a way to make it look at least a bit better. You just have to leave out some bricks. Maybe they will publish new building instructions with a better solution. At least that's what they did when there was a problem with the roof of the medieval tavern, according to a post by Red Croco underneath my video about that Probricks set. I wish that the loose parts like the fishing rod and these wooden planks would have been connected to the build. It would have been nice if we could open the door and the windows, and if the hut had some interior design, But all in all, this set really looks beautiful. I had very much fun building it. I only wish there hadn't been any missing parts, but luckily the company is very fast with sending spare parts.